So your car has been in a bit of an oopsie and you need an auto body part, but you can't find that part no matter where you look. That sounds like a recipe for disaster, but I'm talking to Chris from Traphouse Automotive today, and he's going to be talking about a job that he had where he had some really creative solutions for his customer. So join me as we talk about a Pajero. Hi, Chris. How are you today?
Good, thanks.
Excellent. Any interesting projects going on this week?
I got a couple interesting going on. Yeah, we just finished up a GMC Typhoon, and we're going to be starting on a Ford Lightning. A couple kind of classic American kind of muscle truck kind of styled, like early 2000s vehicles.
Fun. Excellent. And how long do you expect those projects to take?
The Typhoon was a real small job. It's already going home, and the Lightning just needs a little bit of cleanup, so it'll be just a quick couple days as well.
I'm really excited about the topic today. We kind of went through some of the jobs that you have done in the past that are really interesting. So why don't you take us through what we're going to be talking about today?
This one time we were dealing with Lance, and he had a Mitsubishi Pajero.
Okay.
And it had gotten rear-ended. So the spare tire kind of carrier cover had got damaged. The rear hatch got damaged, and which was fine. Both easy parts to fix. The hard part was it had a fiberglass kind of ground effects body kit on it.
Okay.
And the corner bumper had been destroyed, and it was fiberglass. At first, we thought this could be something that we could fix, and Lance had told me that there's no way to find this. He had spent some time scouring the internet.
Right.
It was kind of a classic thing where he was the expert on this vehicle because it was a JDM.
Right.
So he had been turned away a couple times by other shops saying, "Yep, no, not going to touch it," which can be, frustrating, of course, when you have a vehicle that you care about and you don't know how to get it fixed. So he was the expert on it. So he sent me a couple links of, "Hey, I'm being told you can't find parts. Here's the parts. I've already found them here, here, and here."
Okay.
So it was like, a tail light was coming from Amazon, waited 2 months for it, I think. It was way out. So he'd come to me in the winter. We didn't get this car fixed until the summer just because we were waiting on parts.
Wow.
So once the parts landed, but we still didn't solve the body kit piece.
Right.
And so we attempted to repair the fiberglass, but it was just way too gone. And so we got a little creative, and because of the size of the part, we were able to take the left side that wasn't damaged, and we found somebody that could 3D scan it and then 3D print it. So we hadn't done that before, but we were able to get close enough. So we also found out that because of the style of the tailgate being a barn door style, it doesn't open straight up, it opens to the side.
Right.
We didn't realize it, but the left and the right didn't match because of the hinges and the clearances for how the door would open.
Right.
So cloning the left side wasn't exactly like a perfect match, but it got us like all the body lines and the shape really close. So we were able to, while we were waiting for that, we were able to, send him home with his vehicle for a little bit and then come back with it a couple weeks later so we could finish kind of fitting the part, modify the corners a little bit. But instead of having to totally give up on Lance's Pajero and missing this body kit piece that can't be found, it seems, we were able to, have it 3D printed and get a solution there. So
excellent.
It's kind of interesting, the technology with the 3D scanners and the 3D printers. It's becoming a lot more accessible for like regular people. It's not like manufacturing firms only that can afford equipment or afford the investment on this equipment. So this 3D scanning guy, he was just doing it out of his basement, had a couple 3D printers set up, and he was able to help us out and get Lance's Pajero back on the road.
I love that. It was not just fixing a problem, but coming up with a really creative solution to a problem. Had you ever 3D printed a part before?
No. That was the first time we've ever needed to do that. Like we've worked on people's 3D printed parts before where they want them smoothed out and painted.
Right.
We are dealing with a spoiler for a Nissan right now where the guy printed it himself, and it was in 4 different pieces. So we glued it back together, or not, we glued all the pieces together.
Right.
And just getting that ready for paint. So that's a recent thing. So it's kind of interesting that we're working on parts that are, people are basically making in their basement, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of an interesting way that the technology is taking the automotive scene.
That's really fascinating. Does the substrate that the part is printed with have to be specialized in any way? Or is it just using the 3D printed coils that most people are using?
I think it would depend, as long as it can handle like heat, because it's going to be outside and stuff. And then certain chemicals that we need to use to smooth it out, you don't want to melt their piece, right? So we got to sand it smooth, use like different primers, and deal with adhesion promoter and stuff like that to make sure we can smooth out the printing lines.
Right.
And then smooth it out and sand it and paint it. So there's probably a couple different things. I wouldn't necessarily know all the ins and out yet. I think we're a little bit of a trial and error.
Yeah.
But so far so good.
But I think what's really interesting is not only would other auto body shops not touch this, it's a Japanese domestic market vehicle, which a lot of other shops don't like to work with. Also, you're willing to source parts for your clients, or your clients are like, I already know where it is. I just need an auto body shop that's willing to do it. And you're known for being the guy that does it.
Yeah, again, because I know what it's like when you're trying to solve a problem and you think you can solve it and you just get being told, no, it's impossible. That always really resonated with me, to keep kind of running into closed doors like that. So
yeah,
you gotta problem solve a little bit. Maybe it's a little hard. It's not as easy as fixing certain cars that collision shops are after, right? So, but we got to just keep sticking to problem solving for clients, right? So
I love that. And you've already been working with some 3D printed parts. So it was sort of an easy leap to be like, can we find a place to print this? And what was that process like?
It wasn't even all that bad at all. I just kind of started searching on the internet, on Google, and there was somebody not too far just printing already. And I had talked to a friend who was kind of in that industry, and he says, yeah, I know that guy. This should be rock and roll. And it didn't really take him all that long at all. I'm sure he had his own, trials and tribulations with printing a part. He had it back to us within a couple weeks, kind of thing.
Wow.
So it was pretty straightforward.
And so he came up with the 3D model of the part. You just gave him what it looked like or the specs, and he created the model for it?
Yeah, so I gave him the left side that was undamaged, and he copied that and gave it back. Like I said, the right side wasn't a perfect mirror, but everything he did would be what we need it to be. So it's easier than us rebuilding the part from scratch out of fiberglass. So he got it close enough that we could just fit it on the car and do the final adjustments to get it fitting right.
Perfect. I love that. Is this a 3D printer that he often prints for car people? Is that sort of his niche?
I think that's probably what he was doing, because I saw like mirror caps and I saw a couple other things when I was at his place, and he had a couple printers going. So I think he's probably just kind of starting to make a name for himself also.
That's fantastic. And jobs like this is definitely going to help him. He'll solve a problem and then the people will come. I think that's...
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So it was a difficult job to start with, because not only is it a Japanese domestic market vehicle, but also it had a body kit. What would have been the option for Lance if you couldn't find a way to recreate that part? Would he have had to have taken the body kit off his vehicle?
Yeah, so he would have just kind of accepted that, I guess I don't have this now. Take it off on the left side, and this is just how you got to live with it now, right? Because it's kind of what are you going to do on some of these parts that are discontinued, right? So
right.
Yeah.
Is that common for a body kit to just not be made anymore and you can't find the parts?
It can be, for sure. It can be, yeah. And or you see on certain parts coming out of Japan where you might be waiting 9 to 12 months for this part or longer.
Wow.
So some parts, it's kind of like, hey, yes, this part is expensive. Yes, it's still available. It's just, May, and I don't want to lose my entire summer And,
Yeah.
we're all of a sudden it's winter and we're fixing this. I'd like to, be driving this summer vehicle now, right? So
Yeah.
what can we do? And you see that on some of these fiberglass bumpers that are, the brand would be Voltex or Veris. Sometimes they're not in stock, or again, hard to get, right?
Right.
So we fix those just to help save people's summers, of course.
Yeah.
We get such a limited time.
Yeah, you want to be driving your fun car when it's nice out. Although this summer in Edmonton has been a little bit rainy.
A lot of rain.
It's been a little bit frustrating for the car guys. So you definitely want to be having it on those days where you can actually drive it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. I love that. And for the body kit that was used, you said it was made of fiberglass. And how does fiberglass compare to the strength and durability of the 3D printed part?
Well, again, a little bit of trial and error so far. So I haven't had anybody have to come back with a 3D printed part yet.
Right.
So maybe Lance will see this video and reach out and say, hey, it melted on me. But we're going to assume that since I haven't heard back, that we're doing well.
Excellent.
So, yes, I think, and we've painted some interior parts also that have been 3D printed, and that would take a lot of heat too.
Yeah.
So been 5-6 years since I've done some of them, and those people I am still in regular contact with. So
That's great.
My friend Sean with his GTO has some 3D printed parts on his dash, and they seem to be holding up well. So I think the durability has been good so far. Like fiberglass can be known to be kind of rigid and not really take much abuse. I imagine these 3D printed parts are similar.
Right.
But I think as far as I know, they're still holding up quite well.
Excellent. Are there any limitations on what can be 3D printed that you have found in your trial and error stage?
I think it'll come down to the size of the part. Like,
Makes sense.
People's 3D printers obviously vary in size too. And maybe there will be a limitation on how big of a part can be printed, although they are printing them in multiple sizes. So I think it'll be kind of come down to like, what is this part, the authentic part, if it's still available, what's it worth versus the labor to glue 4+ pieces together.
Right.
Right. So it's like, well, might be a trade-off on, yes, we can paint it. It's going to take us this long versus I can get the actual part and it'll cost relatively the same. Is it worth the wait?
Yeah.
So.
And does gluing it together affect the structural integrity of the entire piece if you have to glue many parts together?
I think that structurally it'll be quite solid. The glues that we're using are, pretty heavy duty, specific for Autobody. I think a thing that might come down the line is sometimes plastic on their seam lines. They might, in certain like temperatures, they might contract and expand at different rates.
Okay.
So maybe it looks great in your garage where it's cooler. Maybe at a car show, the heat might make some ghost lines visible.
Right.
Maybe. I haven't seen that yet, but it could be something that I could see happening.
Right.
So I guess we'll have to keep building people's cars and see how it goes.
And I love how you stay in contact with a lot of the people that have come through and you've done some creative solutions for, so that you can keep tabs on how's this holding up.
Right. Yes. Because it's good to know, because say we're doing one repair and where you see a bunch of them, like rust repair, for example.
Okay.
If we're doing the same repair over and over and this is working. If it's not working and I don't know, we just keep doing it. You know, it's important for people to be like, hey, this isn't working. Like, okay, I've done a dozen of these. That's good to know, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same with, we were cautioned about doing like the chrome deletes originally. So like the bumpers and the grills, because I was always told, no, you can't paint chrome. Well, then I kind of started doing it, kind of figuring out like, okay, I'm going to paint my friend's grill. And, I see him every other day, and okay, a year later, it's still looking pretty good. So I think I could probably start doing this and offering it to people. And by now we've done dozens. Like, I wouldn't be able to tell you how many chrome deletes we've done on front ends of trucks, whether it's Fords or GMs, or there's just so many on the road now that, and when we do see them back for some other kind of repair, it's like, oh yeah, this is still holding up. So
That's great.
yeah,
And so why did people say that you couldn't paint chrome?
I think people were just not getting the adhesion right. They weren't using the
Okay.
right products to have it stick to the chrome. So we seem to be having luck. We don't really have to have an adhesion problem. So
Nice.
yeah.
Excellent. So you don't just take it at face value that people say you can't do something, you overcome.
Well, because another thing with the chrome was you'd work at a shop. Oh, we can paint chrome. There's no warranty. It's like, well, why are we doing something that we're not even standing behind? I
Yeah.
don't like that idea at all. I'd rather come up with, I'm either doing it or I'm not. So the method seems to be holding. So
Nice.
I like, yeah, we'll warranty it because it'll chip the same as paint will.
Right.
So, paint protection film is still recommended,
Absolutely.
but it won't be peeling off like people say it will. So, yeah.
That's really great. I love that. All the problem solving that goes into it. And it's so fascinating that you will come up with all of these creative solutions. So I think that's a good reason why people go to Traphouse Automotive in Edmonton, because you will look for the part. And I know that 3D printing is sort of a last resort, and it's a little bit of the Wild West. We don't exactly know how things are going to hold up. But what do you do before you get to maybe we have to 3D print? Take me through that process. Guy comes in, it can't find this part. What do you do next?
We'll do some of our own looking, see, like, again, it's tough because usually on those cars, the owners are experts.
Right.
Like maybe I've never heard of a Pajero and now we're fixing one, right? So usually they've dealt with a lot of the problem solving already for finding the parts. So when they start saying they can't find one, well, now we're saying, well, what is fixable, right? Maybe if we spend a day on this, we can fix it. And then it's like, okay, I don't think we can. Okay, well, now what, right? It's just kind of going down the stage of, okay, what's next? Okay, what's next? Or maybe we can find something that looks close and we can do the left and the right to make it similar. That in Lance's case. And then it was like, you know what, maybe we try 3D printing, right? So it was kind of like just problem solving. And the guys, I'm fortunate to have a couple of young guys who are always online and also kind of looking into how other people are solving problems too. So
That's great.
Me not necessarily being an older tech, but maybe not being as involved in the TikTok, Instagram, social media world, and people are seeing what they're doing in other places of the world. I have that advantage too, where the techs are car guys, very involved, right? So they're always watching for stuff like that. And they'll give me the weirdest tips that I've never heard of.
I love that.
And we go from there.
So you're not the only problem solver on your crew.
No, in Lance's case, Aiden was working on that one, and those guys, they're figuring out their own problems and giving me solutions too. So it's not just, hey, we have this problem, now what? It might be like, hey, we have this problem, I think we should do this. It's like, oh, okay. They've done some problem solving, making my job a little easier also.
I love that, because it really does take an entire crew that has the same mentality. I know that you've talked a lot in the past about having car guys work for you. It's not just people that are there because, well, this is what they do. They're passionate about cars and fixing cars. And that's often how some of your clients find you. They say, oh, I heard you got car guys that work here that really care about fixing cars.
Yeah, and they're out in the communities too. So say I have some time to hit a car show or a car meet, I could be running into them. I could be running into Aiden. I could be running into Logan at these car shows, right? So that's they're out in the community too, seeing what other people are doing. And a lot of these cars at these car shows, they've worked on too, right? So they're nice. They like to see their work out in the wild also.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like it's just a job. It sounds like it's a hobby as well. I
call it a passion. Over a hobby. Yeah.
I love that. It's a passion.
Yeah.
That's great. And when you are working within your passion, then that's where the magic happens. I think that's often why some of these other places are just like, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to spend the time. We want to just make sure that we're pumping out as many cars as we can. And you're the ones that are, we want to fix this. It's our passion to give you back your car in the way that is going to make you happy.
Right. Yeah.
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 I love that. Not a hobby, it's a passion. And you're just solving problems. No matter what problems crop up, you're going to fix it. I love that. And you had mentioned that some other car shops aren't even often willing to be looking for that part. A client comes to you, maybe they have a Japanese domestic vehicle, and they're like, we have to order this part from overseas, and a lot of other places wouldn't. So you'll do that for clients as well.
Right. Yeah. And so another one, we're working on a Honda Acti. It's like a mini, like a K truck.
Okay.
And it's an insurance repair. I think it was hit by a motorcycle, I think when it was parked. And it's a little truck, so it doesn't take a lot to kind of do some damage on these things.
Yeah.
And the insurance adjuster came out and he looked at it and he was like, we could do this two ways, basically. He's like, we could just write it off and this isn't our problem anymore. Or you do the legwork, find the parts, write me an estimate, and we go from there.
Wow.
And I had already talked to the owner, and the owner was kind of in the mindset that he loves this thing, and we're fixing it kind of regardless. He's like, so if it gets written off, I'm fixing it.
Wow.
And he'll go through the rebuild process. So I kind of told the estimator that, and I said, I'll find all the parts. You don't have to worry about it. I'll put an estimate together, and we'll kind of get going on that. So we are still waiting on parts. It's been 3 or 4 weeks. But the owner, again, Tristan, he was like, oh, this is where I buy all my parts. I've already got you a parts list, and here's the pricing, and here's the website. Talk to this guy. So I had to do very little. And all of a sudden, it's like, I've never really even heard of these Honda Actis. And it's like this shop in Toronto is kind of like, this is all they do. So it's like, okay, perfect. Talk to those guys over there in Toronto, order the parts. We're still waiting on them. So we'll see how that job goes still. Nice. But it was just an example of, the estimator was ready to write it off. And I'm like, well, it looks pretty straightforward. Let's just fix it. And he's like, okay, I'll work with you on this, just because they don't have to do all the legwork. And then even me, I'll fix it, of course, but the owner, again, did all of the legwork already. So we just have to put it together like any other vehicle.
I love that. That's so great. And it's heartbreaking to have your vehicle written off in any circumstance, but something like a specialized vehicle like that, you can't just go to any lot in Edmonton and buy another one.
Right.
Where are these people buying these cars? Like, do they come from overseas and they have to get them shipped?
Yeah, a lot of people are importing them themselves or through brokers.
Yeah.
And so they're probably scouring auction sites already, learning how to read auction sheets to see if they're as clean as they look in pictures.
Right.
And then they're going through all of the paperwork or dealing with a broker who does all the paperwork. They could be waiting months for these vehicles, right? So they could be waiting a real long time to get, like, this is like my dream car, Yeah. And they're finally landing, and then they're driving them, and then something unfortunate happens, and then they start running into closed doors of people. No, don't touch them. No, because right from the beginning, it's tough to even get them insured.
Wow,
so
really?
It's like, and then it's like, who's going to work on it if you need to do service? So maybe they're doing their own service and they're ordering parts from wherever. So the whole experience, they have to be passionate about these vehicles, because especially some of the odder ones, like they've been fighting the entire life that they've owned this vehicle on. Every inch is just an absolute drag on getting this thing fixed and on the road. And so they're really used to hearing no. And so then all of a sudden there's an accident and they don't know they've never had to use a body shop, right? Because like some people, your car might be getting at a mechanic every couple months or whatever, just, daily, general maintenance. Well, people could go their whole lives never having to use a body shop. Wow. So they wouldn't have a clue where to start, right? So
that's amazing. I love that. You don't want to have to write off your dream vehicle going through all of this work just to get it. I could see why people would be like, I'm not writing it off. I just need to find someone to fix it. And you're the shop to fix it.
Right. Like there are some cases where they're hit too hard and like it would be better to be written off. But if it's just kind of getting written off because of parts availability, well, that's a real bummer if you know where to get the parts and everyone's telling you that, right? So try to avoid those problems. Like, of course, some things do deserve to be written off. Yeah. Safety concerns and everything.
Of course.
But a lot of the case, it's really, it's just, like I said, in Lance's case, just a scuffed up bumper and hatch, and everyone's telling him no already, right? So that's tough.
Heartbreaking. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me. I really enjoyed to hear about like the 3D printing process and how that's kind of changing the face of auto body. And what else have you got going on for the rest of the weekend?
Just more shop cleanup and setup, and nothing too exciting.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me. If you are interested in talking to Chris about your vehicle, please visit traphouseautomotive.ca. There's a form right on the top of the page where you can submit all of your car pictures and questions. Chris will get back to you and talk to you about what he sees is necessary for your vehicle. I will see you on the next video, Chris.
Absolutely. Thanks, Alana.